Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Indulgence Hour. This is the Candy Girl Effect broadcast, and I am your host, your brown skin Candy Girl. And we are here to help you live, love, and laugh about subject matters that matter to us. Tonight's show, we are starting a new month, and it is Kink Month. It is National Fetish Month, and we are going to be talking about all things kinky, fetishy, and sexy. And tonight I have my girl Aphrodite Brown slash what is it?
Niolatic.
Niolatic
Yes.
Nicole. And how are you this evening, my
I
dear?
am
So
ex- I'm excited to be here.
I'm
Thank you
excited
for
to
having
have
me.
you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. I haven't seen you in forever. And I was having some technological difficulties, but we are here
Yeah.
and we are ready. Hi, Corey. Thank you for joining. Yes, Corey, I want you to chime in on some of this stuff. So,
Come on.
why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are? Yeah, whatever you want the people to know.
I want people to know everything.
Okay,
Um,
come on,
so,
everything.
so I am Nicole. Identify on social media as Niolatic Nicole. Because I wanted to be clear that I am a Black woman of the African diaspora, and I am also all things kinky all of the time.
Hmm.
So
Come
I
on,
wear my
Kinky.
kink like I wear my brown skin.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm. So I describe myself when people ask, I identify as kinky since birth. Because
Ooh,
from knee high to a grasshopper, I have always had alternative uh, identification and tastes. Like I
love it.
like girls before I like boys. Um,
Okay, so you are bi.
I actually identify as queer.
Even better.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Now, did you want to kind of explain, or did you want me to explain what the queer, how would you tag or sexual odd preference? I don't know how we even, I don't even know what's politically correct anymore.
So the only thing politically correct is if somebody tells you what they are,
Hmm.
respect that and refer to them as that. Everything else, I mean, it's very fluid.
Yes.
And I'm gonna use that word again.
Yes.
Um, so my definition of queer might be a little different than yours.
So
Um,
you tell us how, that's why I wanted you to tell us what you consider queer, because some people, the definition of queer and pansexual kind of overlap a little.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I would agree with that. So I am again all over the place. I have identified as straight. I've identified as gay. I've identified as asexual. I've identified as pansexual. I currently identify as queer.
Wait,
And
pause. Come on now. You asexual?
okay, so there are people all over Philadelphia fainting right now to hear that from me.
Yes, because I almost passed that way. Pause. I ain't never, I might call you a lot of things, but I would never in a day call you asexual ever.
There was a period in my life. I am 47. I'll be 48 in 19 days. Um,
Fabulous.
yes, I'm excited. I'm excited about
Scorpio,
that
come
too.
on.
But yeah, there was a period in my life where I was not interested in physical intercourse and the things that went with it.
Oh, this is me fainting, y'all. Hold on. Candy Girl's passing out because my girl said she wasn't interested. Now, was this a long period of time, meaning more than a day or two?
It was 22 months.
How many?
22, almost 2 whole years.
Whole months?
Yes.
Dang, that's like a whole baby going through the terrible twos.
Yeah, that is how long it takes an elephant fetus to become a baby elephant. That's how long. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Talk about not really understanding and knowing someone, because I'm like, wait a minute. I
Huh?
would have, I would have never,
Mhm.
never ever said, "Oh yeah, she went 2 years," and by choice saying, "You know what? I don't want nobody touching me."
Yeah.
Wow. So what brought you out of that?
I got horny.
It only took 22 months to make it happen.
Yeah. I got horny. It's just like, okay, that's enough of that. Let's
That's
get
enough
back
of that.
to it. Yeah.
So okay, pause. Let's rewind a second. What brought you to that point of saying, you know what, I don't want no one touching me? Because there had to be some type of trauma or some type of upset or something that went down to make you feel like, not really wanting it, not really feeling it.
I don't know if I would call it as trauma, because a lot of women, will go through a breakup and they'll be like, I need to be with myself. I need to heal. I had been broken up with my ex for probably 8, 9 months. I just did not have an interest. I didn't have an interest in any of the people that I can be attracted to. It just didn't appeal to me. And I focused on my son. I focused on work. I focused on school.
Now, I'm going to ask you the $1 million question.
Mhm.
Did you use toys?
A couple times, yeah, a couple.
Okay, okay. All right. So all hope is not lost, folks. All hope is not lost. She,
Yeah.
she did use toys. Thank you. Now, if I had a button, I would push it and be like,
Ding, 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 ding. So, I mean, okay. So another, hat that I wear is I am a relationship coach and a sex educator,
hmm
and I am a firm believer that orgasms are part of women's health.
hmm
So, it was a health issue, not a desire issue
Okay.
for men.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So I definitely take it from a perspective of, and this is a whole nother show that I'll have a different time, but I am as an educator myself, I feel like orgasms and climaxes are close, but they're not the same. So I
Okay.
feel like people are able to climax without an orgasm, but they rarely orgasm without a climax.
I can agree.
And people are like, huh? And I'm like, it's just because of what the body goes through, what the brain goes through, right?
Yes.
And the different ways that it affects our body. An orgasm can be a full body something and can last like hours,
If you do it right.
literally. If you do it literally, it can last hours. And people are like, that's impossible. I'm like, no. Oh, no, it's not impossible. It's all about training your mind because really it starts here in your mind. The sexuality, sensuality, intimacy, climax, all of it starts here in our mind. So if you can get your mind, excuse me, to go in a pattern and in a wavelength with your partner, and I mean, it can be mind blowing. It really can be mind blowing. And for
Oh yeah.
those that are questioning, no, I have not experienced that, but trust me, I am knocking on the door, waiting. You have?
Yeah.
Okay, was it in subspace?
So I'm okay. So I'm not a personal fan of the phrase subspace.
Okay. What do you
Um,
like to use? What term do you use?
I, I describe what I'm actually feeling.
Okay.
So it's either floaty or disconnected or satisfied or um excited. I do get excited.
Okay. Is
I
it because you don't
prefer.
identify as a sub?
Remember when I said that word fluid was coming back?
Uh-huh.
So, all right, take a deep breath so I can get all this out. I currently identify as a bottom of center sadomastic switch hedonist.
Okay, I need a pen and paper. Bottom, say it again.
Bottom of center
Okay.
sadomastic
Uh-huh.
switch
Uh-huh.
hedonist.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna need you break it down for the neophytes in the room. because
Yes.
me knowing what you and understanding what you mean is not going to help. So
No.
please understand. Let's take the first part.
Mhm.
Bottom,
Bottom of center.
bottom of center. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Let's bring my girl Trace in here.
Yay.
Welcome, my darling. How are you?
Good. A little tired this week, but happy to be here this evening.
Okay. You are coming in clear, loud and clear. I'm loving it. Thank you. So, Nicole was just telling us how she identifies in the BDSM slash kink lifestyle. She is a bottom of center, sadomasochist, sadist, and hedonist.
Close. You close.
I missed one. Did I
Yeah.
miss one?
Yes.
What I switch.
Yeah. Yes. Um. Pardon me. Ooh, I did not get to the mute button. I'm so sorry. I'll
That's
fix it
okay. You
next.
good?
All right. So, bottom of center, if you are familiar with the BDSM lifestyle, you
Mm-hmm.
will hear things like D/S, M/S, T/B. They are initials identifying roles.
Right.
The left side of the slash is the leader or the aggressor or
Mm-hmm.
the implementer.
Right.
The right side is the person who serves, who submits, or has things done to them. That slash is the center.
Okay.
So when I identify as bottom of center, what that means is I can be on either side of the slash, but I lean towards the right or the bottom.
Bottom of center. I can promise you, I've heard a lot of things, but this is my first time ever hearing that. Thank you for enlightening me. And I'm
Oh,
going to take, I got my handy dandy notebook and
and it's
I'm going
pink. Yes,
to think.
oh, okay.
Who is
That's
this
our roommate.
fabulousness behind you? Hello.
Yes, my roommate is kinky too.
Hey, kinky roommate. So Phil, tell
Mhm.
Rumi she needs to dial in or tune in so we can get some of her input too. We want to hear what she got to say.
She just walked in from work, so let her take her shoes off and wash her
No
hands.
problem. No problem. Bottom of center. Okay, so we got the bottom of center. That
Mhm.
is, you are between that slash, you lean closer to the right, but you can go either way.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So that
Okay,
would also cover the switch part.
that would be the switch. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, so is bottom of center, wouldn't that kind of be like saying switch a little bit?
Well, if I say bottom of center, that will tell you that I identify closer or I'm more comfortable in the submissive role or the bottom role.
Right, right.
That is my preference as
Uh-huh.
I am choosing a relationship.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm taking notes because I'm sure this will come up again. And the thing about when you're talking about different lifestyle roles, right?
Hmm.
I know that people tend to have different jargon, different,
Yeah.
terminology that they use or that they identify with, which is okay, but it is easier when you have kind of like a universal so people can kind of understand. But I guess that's also why people talk. So, let's let's back up a bit.
Okay.
We got the bottom of center. We've talked about the switch a
Hmm.
little bit. Let's go back to when you said you can recall from a young child
Yes.
being a little different, right?
Or
You had some,
a lot different.
okay, a lot different. How was that? Because you said you're 47, so that could not have been easy because really BDSM slash kink slash fetishes have only recently been acceptable out in the open. Let's just
Yes.
be real about it. Because without 50 Shades of Grey, people were like, oh my God, you're not smacking me, you're not beating me. And it's like, come on, it's a whole lot more than just that. So
Or
I
if you are a person of color, why are you doing that white people shit?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's that. Yeah. Black folks don't do that. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, really? So my question is, where did you find your outlet and where did you find your courage to be able to pursue this? Because I'm sure it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. So just a little context of Nicole. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother.
Hmm.
My grandmother was born in the late 1800s.
Whoa.
My mother was born in 1936.
So that was like grandmama. Like
Yeah,
that wasn't grandma. That was grandmama. That's
right.
like 1800s.
Yeah, 1898, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Wow.
And they were from Northern Virginia.
Mhm.
So I was raised by two Black women
Mhm.
from the South
Mhm.
who came of age before civil rights.
Ooh. How
Again,
was
my mother was born in 36.
wow, yeah. So how did that work out for you? Like how did you fare in that dynamic?
It was odd. So I'm also adopted. So for much of my childhood, they really wondered, what the hell did we do? Where did this one come from? Can we send her back and get a replacement? Because we don't know anything about this one.
Really?
It was, and again, they loved me, but they didn't understand me. You have two Southern women who were highly religious, who were raising a child who, as early as 3, was trying to kiss other girls,
Oh.
who as early as 7 was in Catholic school asking the nuns, what kind of nonsense is this? A person can't live in the belly of a whale for 3 days. This is ridiculous.
Oh no.
Right. So who I was and did not have a place where I grew up.
Mhm.
It was not until my early 20s and I met a former intimate partner that hints of it showed up because I didn't even know what it was. Because again, I am before Google.
Uh-huh.
Right. So I knew that, when I was 10 and 11, I would have ideas of tying people up or people tying me up,
Mhm.
but that wasn't normal. So I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was weird. And I am a little weird, um, but not with my sexuality.
Right.
I met an intimate partner, and when we met, we just regular old dated the way regular old dating goes, or as we call
Mhm.
it in lifestyle, vanilla.
Right. Very vanilla.
Hmm.
And for those that don't know what vanilla is, we're gonna be dropping terminology, guys. Please don't panic. I will do the best that I can to. I'm just writing down terminology that I can kind of give people a little bit of help with. Vanilla is just to basically say that you go with the grain, that you don't do anything outside of the proverbial accepted norm.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry. Continue.
So he and I met, and we started dating, and it was very vanilla. And I was leaving his apartment one afternoon, and just out of nowhere, he said, "Come on back in." He was going to take me home. And he took me back in the bedroom and went in the closet and went up on the top shelf and pulled out this big black duffel bag. It was an Under Armour bag. I remember it clearly.
Ooh.
Um, and he started digging in, digging in, digging in. And he pulled out a set of nipple clamps.
Oh.
I had never seen them before. I didn't know what they were. I
Mm-hmm.
just looked at them, and he realized, and I realized that just looking at them had made me wetter than anything we had done before. I
Wow.
mean, dripping wet, just looking at them and not knowing what they were.
And then what happened?
He took me home. Sadist.
Wait, what?
He took
He
me
didn't
home.
use them?
No, he did not use them that day.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
I'm sorry, my mouth watering. So wait,
Mhm.
so he went through all of that
Yep.
and still didn't even. That's wrong.
He was a sadist.
And
For
okay,
those
now
who
let's
are
let's.
not
I'm
familiar
about to
with
say
what
what's
a
the
sadist
status?
is, So if we go back to my introduction, I identified as a sadomasochist.
Mm-hmm.
So sadom is when you become sexually aroused by causing pain and or discomfort to your partner.
And masochist.
Is when you are sexually aroused by receiving pain and or discomfort from your
Yes,
partner.
yes, yes,
Right.
yes. So sadomasochist means that you like giving and receiving pain.
Yes, I'm
For
greedy.
those that, yeah, I get you. I understand.
Mhm.
So he took you home, and
Yep.
when you got home that night, what was your evening like? Did you go home and immediately like run to the room like I gotta handle this because this is crazy, or did you wait till
Yeah.
the next day? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
he wouldn't tell me what they were. He didn't discuss it. Like he pulled them out. He showed it to me. He realized I was wet because he could smell me, and then he checked, and then I started dripping, and he was like, "All right, let's go." And he didn't say anything for like the 25-minute ride. He kissed
Wow.
me goodbye, and I went in the house, and that's how it started.
That is so wrong. So, for those that may not realize, we toss around the word pheromones quite often, and people don't understand that when you are sexually aroused, your body emits a scent. We want it to be a fragrance and not an odor. Let's just hope. But your body emits a scent, and those are called pheromones, which means that those that are pheromones are really tricky because it can be that it's someone of the opposite sex, but it could also be someone of the same sex that is just attracted to your type of people.
Mhm.
So, if someone is finding an attraction to you or feeling as though you are someone that they could be intimate with in some kind of way, then if you're emitting pheromones, then they're going to smell it. And they may not know what the smell is, but all they just going to say is, oh my God. Like, and it's not always, again, it doesn't always have a distinct smell, but you do get a distinct feeling.
Mhm.
And that feeling is when your libido is high and your heart is racing and you're like your breath is short and shallow and you just feel like you're sweaty, your hands are your palms are clammy and your blood is flowing and you just feel what is this? What is this feeling? That's the acts, that is the impact of pheromone. And that just means, baby, you turned on. So now that we've had that quick lesson, I know, right? Just talking about it, right? It's like, wait,
Yes.
tell me more. So since we talked about that, okay. So he took you home.
Mhm.
That was your first encounter. And
Yep.
so now I can imagine he had opened up Pandora's box.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's no going back.
There was not.
Yeah.
Now, we had already had a pretty good sex life. He
Mm-hmm.
was a very skilled vanilla lover.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, we had like, when I say regular sex, I mean regular sex. I
Uh-huh.
mean, the only thing that might have been risky would have been oral.
I'm about to say, did he do it? Because back in those days, I'm imagining this is somewhere around the 80s, somewhere around there.
No,
Late
no,
80s,
it
early
was
90s,
late 90s.
late 90s. Okay. So, right around then is when people started to find it socially acceptable to say they did oral because you remember we went through those days of, ew, I'm not doing that. That's nasty. Who
Mhm,
does that? And I'm like, really though? Really? So that was your first
mhm.
gentleman
Yes.
lover. Now, because you're queer, that means that you're into females as well. So when was your first female lover?
I have had multiple female partners. I have only had two girlfriends.
Hmm.
The first time I had sexual relations with a woman was on the Easter Sunday, the year I turned 24.
She said Easter Sunday, y'all. Stop it. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause. So let me guess. Y'all was going Easter egg hunting and you found something else.
I was turned on by the sacrilege of it. Because you're
Mm.
doing something that a lot of people that identify as Christians say you shouldn't be doing, which is homosexual sex,
Uh-huh.
on the day that you're celebrating the rising of Jesus, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, no, I want the sacrilege. I want the girl, but I want the sacrilege too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So you just all the way, you was just like, forget this. So how was it?
awkward. It was
Oh,
awkward. So a funny thing about me,
hmm,
um, I quickly learned that I enjoyed giving oral. I didn't enjoy receiving oral till I was like 30.
period at all?
I had difficulty having an orgasm from oral.
Really? So then how would you climax and how would you finish?
I am fortunate that I can climax from vaginal and anal penetration.
Ooh, you're in the
And
25%. Come on, girl.
uh and I can also orgasm by sucking a phallus.
Girl, let's be plain. Second of what?
Well, I say phallus, we'll go dick, but
Thank you.
again, women aren't typically born with it, but we can buy them and strap them on.
Oh, so even if you're doing that too,
Yeah,
ooh, you really got an oral fixation.
I do. I really, really do.
That is amazing. Yeah, see, I know people that say that they can. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet where I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna just suck this and this. Whoop, I'm done. Nope. You gotta work. Okay, so that is really dope. I mean, not very many people that I interact with are able to say. I've heard people say that, but
Mhm.
I've never been really like interacting with someone that says that they actually was able to do that. That's
Yeah.
really nice. That's amazing. So now you're like a whole you're like a whole wonderful
Yeah.
smorgasbord of you could
Both.
push this button, you could push that button, you could
Yep.
push this button. Wow.
Yes.
So you
I'm a
experience
coordinator
multiples
girl.
also?
I'm sorry.
You experience multiples?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That means to me when people can get to that place, that means that you are so free mentally that your body just kind of just is like let it let's go. That is awesome. That is
I
really
didn't
really
start out
awesome.
that way. I had to work on it and get there.
Mhm.
Um, so even though I understood exactly who I was, it took me a while to get comfortable, first of all, with my own body, and then
Mhm.
with the acceptance of all of the layers of who I am.
Wow.
Because again, we are a part of the society that we grew up in.
Mhm.
Remember how I was raised and remember how I was
Yep.
conditioned. Even
Mhm.
though it never rang true for me, I still had to unpack all of that and discard all of that. No, I
So,
never believed in the Bible,
mhm.
but when you have 20 something years of um, your guardians telling you because you like to look at titties, you go into hell, it takes a little while to deprogram that.
So your paradigm to simplify it, your paradigm was very toxic and very dogmatic
Yes.
because it was, this is what it is,
Yes.
and anything outside of this means you're going to hell. Do, have you carried that same concept now into your adulthood, or are you able to kind of say, okay, I understand that there's a superior being, and no matter what you say, I know he loves me too, and I don't care what you say, I'm gonna do what I do, and I know he love me because I love him, or you just like, nope,
I don't believe in God.
okay,
Um,
gotcha.
I understand that others do, and I will
Hmm.
give you the space to that. I don't have a personal belief that there's any such thing as a deity.
So what? So where does your like? So how do you feel as far as superior being? You don't feel like there's any superior being at all. Like
I
we're
think
all
aliens exist.
aliens.
I think aliens exist. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Wow.
I don't know if
Okay,
they're superior, but I don't think that we're alone in the universe.
gotcha. Okay, okay. I can go with that. I can go with that, especially after watching Men in Black. I'm just saying. People may chuckle, but I mean, some of that stuff you be like, hmm, like, because some people act a little off. and you be like, what? Like, what? Where are you from? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
I'm
and
sure people have said that about me. Sad.
okay, so fast forward a little bit. So, okay, mom, grandma, dogmatic, and whatnot. What was your relationship? Are they still with us? Are either one of them still with us?
My grandmother passed. My
Okay.
mother is still here, but my mother is in assisted living
Oh,
with Alzheimer's and dementia.
oh,
So she doesn't
wow.
even remember that she has this weird daughter right now.
Okay. And what's your relationship like right now?
I don't see her.
Ever?
No, I haven't seen her for 3 years.
Is that like you're by choice?
Yes, as her Alzheimer's and dementia progressed, it was too painful for me emotionally
Mm,
to continue the visits.
yeah.
And she was at a point and is at a point that the statistical odds of her realizing I'm her daughter just aren't there. I might as
Mm,
well be, the nurse's aide from up from Ward C.
yeah.
Um, Now, I mean, we had an interesting relationship when she had a stroke in 2007.
Mhm.
I was her sole caretaker because I'm her only child for 7 years.
Mhm.
So there were repairs done to the relationship. I don't want to give
Mhm.
the impression that, I hate her and I ran away and I never saw her. That wasn't the
Mhm.
case. But
Mhm.
what I have learned over time is I have to protect myself first. And the emotional trauma of watching her disintegrate further with
Mhm.
her variety of illnesses is not something I can handle.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're going through that. Like I know what Alzheimer's and dementia can do to and for the psyche of the family members. My grandfather actually had it, but I mean, when he passed away, for all intents and purposes, my grandfather passed away. He was like 93, like 92, 93. So I was like, yo, I was like, granddaddy, you lived a good life. So, I was upset, of course, because we don't never want to see our family members go. But again, 90 anything, granddaddy, you did good. Like high five. Psh, like, you know what I'm saying? You got that. So it was okay for me to like let him go.
Yeah.
But it's still tough. It's tough. And I've seen plenty of people that have suffered with it. And that just goes back to we talk about physical health, right? We don't very much talk about mental health. Mental health is important, folks. We need to take care of our brains. And I mean, we need to eat brain foods. We need to exercise our brain, building more white matter. We need to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to keep ourselves in a comfortable place, meaning doing proper self care. These are things that we don't handle. We tend to brush it aside because as long as we look good on the outside, we feel like the inside is okay. And that's not always the case. And that's why I wanted to talk about this topic, intro to kink, because people tend to feel like, oh, I can't do that. Like, oh, that's so taboo. I can't do that. Oh, I can't involve myself in that. And it's like, well, how do you know? Like, how do you know if it's something that you may like? How do you know if it's something that may turn you on? It may be something that could literally save your life because it could put you in a position where you literally are rediscovering yourself. And now you're in this bliss. Like literally, I mean, right?
Yeah.
You've had those moments. And when I used the term subspace a few minutes ago, people may not quite understand what I meant, but it's basically to say where you got to the point where you like lose yourself in bliss. Like you literally are in such a wonderful place as your bottom for someone, meaning that someone is now doing impact play or fire play or rope play or whatever it is. And you literally have gotten to the point where you're like, I am enjoying this so much that I'm now out of myself
Yes. And
and
out of
in
my
La La
age.
Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You
But
like
real
leave your
quick,
body.
when you
Mhm.
said literally save your life, I got a story for everything.
Listen, I'm
So
listening.
I was walking to just the corner store right around the corner from where I lived in West Oak Lane at the time. And there was a group of four girls on the corner and they tried to rob me.
No, they didn't.
They tried to rob me. But the mistake that they made, bless their hearts, was they walked up on me with one of those tasers that you can get off of Amazon
Mm-hmm.
and tased me. Yes. But one of my kinks, one of the
It's
things that I like,
electro play.
yes. So
So they
I
didn't
went,
know they were turning you
ooh,
on.
yes. I went, ooh, and laughed, and it scared the shit out of them, and they broke. So,
That is funny.
yes.
That is funny. And it's really funny that you say that because I just recently was with some friends over the weekend and I had sold them a violet wand.
Ooh,
And for those that don't know, a violet wand is a electro current wand that you hold, and it actually has glass pieces, glass attachments at the end, and the color of the current is purple, violet.
that,
And when it makes contact with another being or another person or whatever, it like really glows, and it's just like. And so when I pulled the box out, she looked at it and was like, I was like, I knew you would like that. I was like, I knew. I was like, I already knew. Like as soon as I pulled it out, I knew. I was like, this is what she wants. Like I already know because I knew who she was and I knew the type of play she enjoyed. And she's a really heavy bottom, a
okay.
really heavy bottom. Like she, like you look at it and you be like, oh my god, that gotta hurt. And she be like, give me more, give me more. Like she literally, she's a heavy bottom. So for those that are watching, listening, tuning in, and have questions about this, I know people have asked you a ton of questions. What would be like, okay, first, what is your thoughts on the 50 Shades series and books? Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I am a fan of literature and I love books and I appreciate well written books
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate erotic stories. It is my personal opinion that 50 Shades series is none of the above. While I absolutely understand why it caught on popularity,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that it is a lot of people's introduction to aspects of my lifestyle,
Yes.
I want to make it explicitly clear that what is described in the 50 Shades books, what's described in actually most of the books, and I'll go there in a second, is not how we live this life.
At all.
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have read 50 Shades of Grey and or
Oh no.
any, there were three of
Oh,
them,
there you go. Okay. You had
and
paused
you
for a
think,
second.
oh, okay.
Okay.
If you've read, and I think there's three of them, if you've read them and you think that any of that is attractive, stop. Because 87% of what Christian does in that book is a felony.
Yeah. Please understand people that, and this is what I had been saying too, as a friend to the BDSM lifestyle, I have said, you know he hasn't gotten consent in a lot of the things that he's doing, and people are like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. I'm like, that would not fly in real life. Like,
No,
it's not, you can't do that to people. Like, you can't, that's not
no,
how people function. Like,
no.
that's not how it should function. Now there are some people that will see that and feel like that is proper. And that's what happens when proper vetting doesn't happen, or when people haven't been taught or learned on what it is to actually be in a lifestyle. Can you please explain the difference between trying or experimenting in certain things, dabbling, going to the store and getting a feather or a little whip or a little paddle and thinking, ooh, get a little blindfold and a handcuffs, and now all of a sudden they're in video. Can you explain the difference between experiencing or trying
Mhm.
kinky things and
Right.
actually being a part of a lifestyle?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to start with, and if you take nothing else away from this conversation tonight, take this. It begins with consent.
Thank you. And what is consent? What does that look like? Map
Consent
it out
is
for us.
permission
Mhm.
Consent is conversation. Consent is I have an interest in this. I would like to do this with you. Would you like to do this with me? And
And
that is done at every step of the way.
the person has to also respond. There
Yeah,
has to be a response. Also, people fail to realize that you can say no. If you consent to one portion of it and it's something that you don't like, you can say no. You
yeah,
can say stop. You can call red. You can, whatever your safe word is, you can use it. And people may feel like, oh, I don't want to do that. No, 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 no. If it's just like with anything else, if your things are getting hot and heavy and you're kissing and fondling and feeling and things are coming off and all of a sudden you change your mind, you can say no. It's
yes,
okay to say no. And people may not comprehend that, but you absolutely listen, everyone, please understand under the sound of my voice, you have every right and you have full control of what happens to, what happens through your own body. Period. That's it. Just regardless of what you identify as, regardless of what type of situation you may have gotten into, regardless of who you're dealing with, you have every right to say what will and won't happen to your own body. Period. End of story. I don't care who says what. And if someone else tells you otherwise, tell them come see me because they're full of crap. They're trying to get over on you and it's just not happening. You have to be willing to speak up for yourself. And that comes with even with being a sub, even with being a little, even with being a pet, whatever it is that you identify as in within this alternative lifestyle, you need to understand that there is a consent that happens
yes,
and people don't always understand that. So we got the consent portion done. Now,
yes.
if someone wanted to get started, what
Mhm.
would your like if they felt like maybe I think I kind of sort of possibly think I might want to like that, but I want to spice things up. That's what people usually say. I want to spice things up.
Right.
What would you recommend?
Okay, so I'm a fat black woman. I like spice.
What
Okay. Um,
you mean?
the second thing that I would have people take away is that when we talk about BDSM,
Mm-hmm.
which is bondage, discipline, sadism, masochism, bondage and discipline is how we live. S&M is what we do. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say that you want to spice things up or you want to try some handcuffs or you might, want to get a spanking or whatever, what you are discussing is S&M,
Mm-hmm.
sadism and masochism. And there are levels to it. So explore those levels. It doesn't matter where you start and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter where you end up. I am a fan, I am a advocate of experimentation and exploration. But people don't know. It's like, okay, so where do I start? Because if you go out here on Al Gore's internet and type in some stuff, you get some images,
Yes.
that make you go,
Uh-huh.
right?
Taken back. Yeah.
Okay. Um, my suggestion would be to educate yourself, join a couple Facebook groups. There are sites out there. Yeah, that one doesn't exist anymore. FetLife. Hell, I have a Facebook group. Find a kinky person on Twitter and watch.
Mm-hmm.
My first advice is to watch. You don't want to walk in and pick up a cane and just start
That's a
smacking
nice one.
people.
That's a
Um,
nice one.
yeah, this was a gift for my current person. So this
Person.
hasn't even been used yet.
Really?
It
What's the
has
what's the
not.
material? Is that rattan?
No, it's not. It's just four rods. And the reason why I pulled this out, I have some pervertibles. If time allows, I can show. They're just four separate rods put together.
What is
These,
it made of?
um, they are wooden rods like you would find at a Home Depot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I
just
have a
the
rattan
faded
cane,
black.
which is way thinner, but
Yes.
I like the way it sounds and it feels kind of good too.
Yes.
I know. That's just, I know.
I mean, rattan is my favorite.
Hmm.
But yeah, these are four rods. Dowels. There we go.
Dowels, wooden dowels. Okay.
hmm That you could get at Home Depot.
Hmm.
Painted black, tied together at one end,
Beautiful handle. Hmm.
handle
Hmm.
with a with a. Obviously, I don't have a need for it, but a
Little, yeah.
hair tie at the end
Uh-huh.
to hold them
Uh-huh.
together.
Trace
Um,
says caged.com. Come on, Trace, with the plug.
Woo! Okay, so yeah, I mean that works for me, but at this point in my journey, I would say that my tastes are a little on the extreme side to your
Ooh, so
average
we need to
person.
call you back for the extreme play because I have an extreme play episode at the end of the month. We're gonna close out with extreme play,
Okay.
and I want to get some of my heavy bottoms in the LGBTQ community to come for that too,
Okay.
because people don't understand what gaping is. They don't always understand what fisting is. They don't always get to that, and they don't understand that's all a fetish. That is all still under the same umbrella, and
Yeah.
they just feel like everything is beating and slapping and whipping and blood, and it's like, no, that is just a portion of
Yeah.
what it is to be kinky and be a part of the BDSM lifestyle. So go back, let me have you go back to say it one more time. You said B and D is what you
It's how we live,
is how you live, and the S&M is
what we do.
what you do.
Yes.
I love it. And like I said, I've seen so much over the years, and usually by the time people get to me, they have had a bad experience,
Yeah.
and they need, yeah,
Yeah.
and they need some coaching or some counseling, and they feel jaded by whatever, and it's usually a bad experience. And I'm like, well, you have to be careful, and people don't always want to accept some of the responsibilities on
Right.
themselves to say it's your responsibility to make sure that you're dealing with people that have your best interest at heart.
Yes.
And if you haven't taken the time, like, it's no different being a part of a kink lifestyle or BDSM lifestyle or fetish lifestyle, and being in a family or being a part of a fellowship with people is no different than if you said you were going to be a part of a girls group and you guys were going to share bank accounts, because ideally you're sharing intimate, like, you're vulnerable when you are
Yeah.
bottoming for someone. You are vulnerable, and you need people that will have your best interest at heart, whether it's in a home setting, in a party setting, in a club setting, whatever. You need people that'll have your best interest at heart.
Right.
People don't always take the time
They don't. So
to
you
figure that out.
heard this new thing called BDSM exists, and you're super excited, and you want to try, and you
Hmm.
throw all of your common sense out the window.
Out the window. Hmm.
And the way I explain it to newer people that I meet, if you wouldn't do it outside of BDSM, why do you think it's okay to do it now? Like if you met, okay, and again, no judgment because I've
Hmm.
actually lived this life.
Hmm.
I have like put out an ad on Craigslist and had sex with somebody the same day. So I'm not judging,
Right.
but I just wanted to be clear that if you met somebody on the internet on Thursday, the 1st,
Hmm.
would you be letting them throat fuck you on, Friday the 2nd? Some of us would,
I was about to say some people would. I mean, you know, no
but
judgment.
those of us who would
Mhm.
typically have a different standard of behavior.
Yes,
These are not the people that are coming to you and me.
right,
These are women that wouldn't do that because
right,
they have an idea of what they want it to look like, their relationship, their sex, whatever,
right. But it's also,
have
oh,
before
you
they
stuck.
get to that point.
Okay, there you go, because you paused for a second. Um,
Okay,
there's
I'll stop shaking
also
the table.
there's also the fact that for me, I know I have very keen like discernment. Like I literally, I can before I even know someone, I could be like, mm-mm, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And people be like, you don't even know them. I'm like, I don't care. I don't like them. It's something about them.
Yeah.
I can't quite put my finger on it. I know. But then I can also tell when I meet someone like, oh man, we
Yeah.
gonna be friends. Like I like you. Like yeah, you good people. Like you know what I mean.
Right. So
So
there is such a thing as empaths.
yeah,
You know, empaths are a real thing. Life
hmm
experience is a real thing.
yes,
Again, I'm going to be 47 in a few days, and I've
hmm
lived a lot.
love it.
I have seen a lot and experienced a lot.
Hmm
So odds are, whatever game you're trying to toss at me, I did it before you and I did it better. So I can see what's
Hmm.
coming.
Come on.
Look, I used to be
So
a I'm a retired whore now,
listen, we
but I
don't
used to
talk.
be a
We don't listen. We don't say that. We don't say that. We just say you are a sexual enthusiast.
whore. Okay. I'll use your word because it's your show. But I don't mind the word hoe. I'm good with it. I mean, I have, you can call me a hoe, you can call me a slut, you can call me a whore. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. That rocks with me. Okay,
Yeah. But we're
cool
going to use
beans.
your words. I am sexually enthusiastic. Yes.
I just do that for people that they be like, oh my goodness, she a hoe. Like, no, she is a sexual enthusiast. Leave her
Yeah.
alone. Nothing wrong with that. And people tend to use. They also tend to say stuff like sexual addiction, right? And I said, really? So if someone sits first I'll ask them to explain what sex addiction is,
There you go.
right? What is your idea of sex addiction? What does that mean? And people were like, oh, when you gotta have it all the time and you can't. I'm like, okay, I got you. I said, so what do you say about the people that binge watch Netflix? What do you say about the people that can't miss a baseball, a basketball, a football game? What do you say about people that legit be like, look, I gotta go to meet my boys every single weekend and go to the club and watch this and go watch the ladies or do what do you say about that? Are they addicted also? So I just say people have certain predilections, and if someone has a different sexual appetite, that doesn't make them an addicted person. That just makes them hungrier than you are.
Okay, so like words matter, and addiction is
Yes.
a very specific thing.
Yes.
An actual addiction impairs your ability to
Function.
perform
Yes.
daily living.
Yes. Mhm.
And I don't want to pretend like there are not sex addicts. They are.
I
Sex
wanna meet one.
addiction is a thing.
I wanna meet one because I don't feel like I stand very
Mhm.
closely with Dr. Chris out in California where he literally has Chris Donahue, he has um written articles, he has done talks, he has a book that he specifically talks about how sex addiction is not real. Like people tend to label it as sex addiction because they don't know therapists, counselors, social workers don't know how to address it.
Mhm.
So they categorize it as an addiction because it's just easier. Oh, it's an addiction. So that means that we don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. How about trying to understand what this person deals with and what this
Right.
person is going through rather than just automatically lumping them into, oh, they're just kind of like with the ADHD whole thing. They just want to automatically label the kids that are hyperactive or that are enthusiastic or rambunctious ADHD and start medicating them. No. How about take time to understand what they're going through? Some of them are just damn bored.
And
They don't
and
need
that
medication.
right. And that's the thing. But that's a whole other topic.
Yes, it is.
But from a clinical psychology perspective,
hmm
sex can be an addiction. The same way gambling can be an addiction, drugs can be an addiction, alcohol.
hmm
It can be.
It can be.
It can be. So I don't want to diminish that. Um,
hmm
but our concept of what a sex addict is
Right.
tends to be skewed because in
Exactly.
Western society, we are not sex positive.
Right.
We're not.
Right.
So the common knowledge of what sex addiction is would be skewed. because
Mhm.
if they look at somebody like me that has no idea how many people she has slept with in her lifetime,
Mhm.
who could have sex 2 to 3 times a day every day,
Uh-huh.
um, I'm like, oh my God, she's an addict. I'm not,
No,
because
because
I
it's
know
not
how to stop
impairing your
fucking
judgment.
and go to work.
Uh-huh.
I know
Exactly.
how to stop fucking and eat. I
Right.
know how to stop fucking and pay the light bill.
Thank
Um,
you.
and those are things that are affiliated and attached to addiction,
Mhm.
that don't make me an addict. I
Right.
just like fucking.
Why not?
It's
But see, the
work.
thing about it, take you out of this warped, good old boys, ridiculously paganistic and just diluted, uh, polluted, bigoted country that we live in, and take you and transport you to a European country, and you will be like, "Hey, you're a fabulous goddess." Take you and move you to Australia. "Hey, you're a beautiful queen." They wouldn't look at you in that same light, or anybody for that matter that is sex positive. It's just it is what it is. So it, we definitely have a lot of work to do. Definitely,
A lot.
folks like you and I are in short supply, but we are so grateful, and I'm so grateful for you. So, as we're wrapping up, I want to know, I want you to tell, because this is so good and we could go on forever. We could.
We could.
Why don't you why don't you talk about some of your favorite things? These are a few of our favorite things. So why don't you talk about a few of your favorite things
Mhm.
within the kink BDSM fetish community? Like, okay, what is your fetish? I know you have at least a few.
I have two. I have quite a few things that I like, and I am
Uh-huh.
fortunate that I've had a lot of experience. So I'm going to quickly go into kink versus fetish.
Please do.
So my fetish is black men. My fetish
Mm.
is big thighs and big asses.
Ooh.
These are attributes that I find attractive, that I find arousing, and that I pursue. My
Mhm.
kink is control.
Mm.
Yes. So I am hardwired and designed in my BDSM relationships
Mhm.
for there be it's called an authority imbalance relationship,
Mhm.
where one person is absolutely in control, the
Yes.
other person surrenders that control to the other person.
Yes.
Now, again, I can be on either side because it's the control that works for me.
Mhm.
So if I am leading and you give me all the control, I am going to be just as satisfied. Okay, so I can't say just as satisfied because I'm about to talk about my current relationship. Sorry, Daddy. Um, I will be almost as satisfied as in my current relationship,
Mhm.
where I have surrendered all of my control over to the person that I call Daddy.
But you have taken your you've given yourself the option. You've taken
Yes,
the option and
yes,
said, I select to give you
yes.
this control. And
I
that
consented.
is, yes, you consented. And that in a form is control yourself, because you are controlling what you
Yes,
still control what will and won't happen. Even though you've given him,
right.
you still get to say yes or no.
So, I mean, let's be clear. I absolutely love him. I am absolutely committed. Um, I'm not going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. This is
Hmm.
what we're doing. However, it's still the year Beyonce 20 and 20.
Uh-huh.
If I want to get up and be like deuces at any
Hmm.
point, I can do that.
Yes.
I don't intend to, and I don't plan to, because of my appreciation for him, my dedication to the life we are making.
Hmm.
But don't get it twisted. Yes, I could leave at any time.
Yes.
But because I am choosing to stay, the agreement that he and I have is that he makes the rules and I say, yes, daddy. That
Mm.
works for us.
Very nice. See,
Yes.
I never could get into the whole daddy thing. I just can't. It ain't a turn on for me. I'm
And
not.
that
I'm not attracted to my daddy. I
okay.
just don't do it. I can't do it.
Okay, and that's and so there's a whole psych thing behind that, which
Yes.
is an hour in and of itself.
Yes. Yes.
It's why it works for me. But
Yes.
trust me, I don't want to fuck my daddy.
Well, definitely not. Yes. But I'm
Right.
just saying that's what comes to
Yeah.
mind for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I can't say that.
Okay.
And some women be like zaddy. I'm like, that's even worse.
Okay. So confession, I still don't know for real, what a zaddy is. I still don't.
It's
You know.
just it's a ghetto way of saying daddy without saying daddy. It's
Okay.
like he's your he's your sugar daddy, like your provider, like your he's your turn on, he's your addiction for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And
I mean,
whatever.
if it works for them, good.
Yeah, they interject the Z and the D's very regular. There's a whole like I just came across a whole Instagram page where dude uses these like and I was a little freaked out for a minute. I was like, I don't know if I want to hear this, but okay. But anyway, so you talked about your current dynamic. You talked
Yes.
about now tell us
Yes.
your favorite thing.
Okay. So obviously, my favorite thing is daddy and everything associated with him. But
Uh-huh.
that's not that's not going to help anybody because yeah, you can't be him. He's him. There's only one him.
hmm
So as far as the thing that I do or S&M, I enjoy impact. I enjoy fire. I
Ooh.
especially enjoy electricity. If I had to
Mm.
do only one thing, it would be any form of electric play.
Mm.
Violet wands, tens unit, internal, external. Yes,
hmm
there is such a thing as internal electric. And
Yes, they're Eastem vibrators and stuff. I
yes,
sell them.
uh-huh. And my nipples just got hard. That's why I put on a bra because I knew this would happen. Um,
That's funny.
Man, these things will poke your eye out if they just left to go free. But those are the things that I enjoy.
hmm
What I don't enjoy are spankings and paddles. I don't like
Really? But
no
then how do you do impact play?
punching, slapping, floggers, canes.
So you don't like spankings how though? Like you bent over spankings or
So if your bare hand is on my thighs or ass, I don't like it. I don't
gotcha.
mind you barehanded on my breasts.
Uh-huh.
I can work with it. But it's just
Right.
something about my ass
Right.
that I don't like flat instruments on it. So an open-handed spanking, flat, don't like it. A
Mm-hmm.
paddle, flat, I don't like it.
Ah.
But a cane with a curve, I can fuck with it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's different, huh? So you
Yeah,
don't like you don't like paddles?
and I
You
don't like
do
that.
like floggers.
I do.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. So you have your cane there. What else? What other goodies do you have there?
So I have a couple pervertibles. Because the other misconception is you gotta, go spend 8 grand at the kink store. Um, so I'm a fan of going to the kink store.
Uh-huh.
Support your local businesses.
Right.
If you just want to start off and you want to try stuff, you can go into your kitchen and get an egg whisk.
And what do you do with that?
You can do a lot with this. So first of all, it's metal,
hmm
so it can be chilled or heated.
They call that temperature play.
Sensation, yes.
hmm
Each one will bring a different sensation. What people don't always remember about your is that this little thing at the bottom, it moves. And when you
hmm
move it, it gets tighter.
Uh-huh.
So you can put a nipple in here, you can put a clit in here,
Oh,
and you can adjust the tension on it. Or
wow.
just regular old.
Very nice. I hope you would not take that back and put that in your kitchen
This
drawer.
does not go into the kitchen.
No.
This goes into my
Okay.
toy bag.
Thank you. Thank you. Please be clear. Because
Yeah.
folks, we don't want you whisking up no cakes and pies and then turn around and putting clits and titties.
If I come to your house and it's a pubic hair in my carrot cake, we're gonna have a very long
It's
conversation.
gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Right.
Okay.
One other pervertible that I love. So everybody goes whips and chains and spanking and beating, but sometimes S&M can be just about a different sensation
Uh-huh.
to inspire arousal.
Mhm. Is that a kitchen brush?
Yes,
What? So what you exfoliating?
you run it across the skin. You can do it gently for a sensation.
Oh.
You can do it harder for a sensation. You can wet it so it feels different. And if you
Oh.
want to do pressure play, you use this end and apply pressure to pressure points.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Anything in your house can be perverted. You just need a little time and a little imagination.
What else you got there? Because I have a couple of things that I'm thinking of that I would expect to see.
So I am going to close out my pervertibles with how we started our story.
Uh-huh.
Clamps.
Those ain't nipple clamps. Those are clamps that I use for my clothes.
So these are actually you can use them as clothespins, but these are actually paper binder clips.
Oh.
Yes, they can go on your regular skin.
That is the tension is ow.
Increase. Yeah, it can go
Ow.
on your regular skin. Um, it can go on a nipple.
Ow.
It can go on labia. It can go on testicles. Yeah.
Ow.
Um, I enjoy these more than clothespins because I enjoy the increased pressure. The pressure is a thing for me.
Now you didn't start there though, did you?
Oh no, no.
I'm about to say, please be clear and let people know you didn't
Oh
start there.
no,
Don't
no.
go out and get clothespins and put it on your nipples and think that you want to like, ooh. Like, no,
Right.
baby, you gotta build up to that. She's
Right.
a pro.
Well, yeah, I'm 24 or so years. I've been doing this.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, I got
Very
another
nice.
24 in me at a minimum.
Wow. That's right, girl. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna be them old people that you get sick of. Like, oh my god, all this stuff. That's what we do.
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, so we started off with, my introduction to kink was the nipple clamps, and I have found different ways for nipple clamps. Um,
I love it.
yes.
I love it.
What I love
So
about these is once you put them on, and again, we'll put this up so you can see. You can put stuff through the hole and add weight to them,
mm-mm.
so you don't have to go
Yeah.
out and buy weights for it. You can go in and make your own weights
Yeah,
with a
that's a lot.
shoestring, and yeah,
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm inventive.
Yeah, you're very creative. I'll give you that. And a lot of my lovely BDSM family is very creative. And but they still always seem to find their way back to be like, "Hey, can you find this?" And I'd be like, I want to know what that is exactly?" But no, we're not gonna ask questions. Like literally, they'll ask for a piece of something. Like, "Can you get this, but with this kind of attachment?" I'm like, "I don't want to know what you're doing with that. I don't think I want to know because I don't want to be culpable in this. So let's just say, let me let me see what I can find, and then we go from there." But I so appreciate you sharing so much of yourself and being so transparent tonight because there are so many people that are within the lifestyle, and again, we haven't even scratched the surface. Like we have just like literally, we just barely, just a
Exactly. Yeah.
smidge. I
Yes.
mean, it's so much more. Um, where can the people find you? Tell them your social media, your Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, whatever. Tell them how they can find you.
Okay. So the spelling is like you see it here, Nialotic Nicole. You
Mhm.
can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at those names. If you are part of the site called Fet Life, you can find me there as well under
Mhm.
that name. I have a website called Visions from the bottom,
Mhm.
and that is Visions with Z. So it's Vizions from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That is my personal website, and it has 11 years now of my relationship and BDSM journey.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is beautiful.
yes.
We're gonna have you back if you have the time, we're gonna have you back because I have thoroughly enjoyed this and we always like I've seen you, but usually when we see each other it's for an event that I'm
Yes.
having or something's
Mhm.
going on. So we never really had a chance to engage. And then there was also so many times that there were other people
Yeah.
that kind of took, you know what I mean?
Our time.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm so glad that we actually had this time because I did not know all this yummy goodness about you. And I am so grateful to know. And there's so many more things that we can talk about and discuss. And you guys will be hearing more from Miss Aphrodite Brown or Niolotic Nicole. Say that three times fast. So I
So
thank
just
you.
real quick, Aphrodite Brown is a pen name that I have used to write. So I have like sex columns and short stories and erotica out there under Aphrodite Brown.
I
My
love it.
is Nialotic Nicole.
I love it. I love it. And again, we're going to do more with that as we expand the indulgence brand. We are going to pull in a lot more of our beautiful people that we are connected to and that we, have invested time and energy in. And it's going to be some dope things coming up. So thank you again. Thank you so very much. You all follow her, Nilotic Nicole, on IG, Facebook. She's on Fat Life. If you guys have any further questions, feel free. You can reach out to myself. You can reach out to Nicole directly. If you reach out to me, I can definitely put you in contact with her and we can get you guys going. But please, ma'am, please, sir, please, him, please, her, whatever you identify as, do not, if you choose to dip and dabble into the kink or into any fetishes, whether it be foot fetish, whether it be, there's also, people talk about if you do asphyxiation, if you do impact, I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many things that literally can border on abuse
Mhm.
if it's not done properly. Be very careful, be very educated, be mindful of who you interact with and how you're interacting, and be sure that you have consent, consent, consent. Thank you again, Aphrodite, Nicole, Nilotic Nicole. I'm going to be on switch your name, but by the end of the day, I appreciate you so much. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and to share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Candy Girl Effect, GURL Effect, AFFECT, on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm your brown skin candy girl. We will be back again next week with Dirty Lola. Dirty Lola will be here, and I also have another mistress that will be surprised for next week that we are going to be talking about. Uh oh, what are we talking about next week? Oh, kinky versus sensuality. So
I like it.
that's going to be another yummy topic that I can't wait to delve into. So tune in again, same bat time, same bat place. Live on purpose, love on purpose. I'm your brown skin candy girl. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye bye. Toodles.